Evening, traders. Evening. We're back Tuesday. Not much to report from last night, actually. Very quiet in the stock market, very quiet in the currency markets. The only thing that's really moving here is that there's a slow drag down on the pound. Uncertainty is building. Now, uncertainty the market loves to sell into. To me, this is providing more and more opportunities. I already am short euro pound. I haven't taken my loss yet. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking that I'm just going to wait until Article 50 sort of triggers, and it may go to 120, 20, maybe 119 before that. But I suspect that this is part of the recovery. I haven't really sold heavy or anything. Just looking at it at the moment. I do like dollar yen as well, but it's sort of breaking the heart. The market found a bit of support and rallied here. The yields started to increase last night, but then didn't follow through this morning. A little bit surprising, a little bit weak. We need to just get back above this 114.10 level. I think we can start to creep higher into next week's Fed rate hike. Also, NFP on Friday should support as well, as long as it's not dreadful. I think that the top end needs to be tested before we can consider going back towards that 112 level. And this seems to be a bit consolidation of that. Though, if we see a break below 113.50 today, I'll be closing out the trades, just seeing where we're going. It's underperforming, that's for sure, right? Now, a bit of that could be euro yen, a bit of that could be pound yen stalling. But either or, it's not great price action if you're bullish, and definitely something to think about if you're buying looking for US dollar strength on a pair. The main news today in the Asia session was that the RBA came out, pretty neutral. There was some pretty upbeat about the world economy, pretty upbeat. Just generally about inflation picking up in Australia. Nothing negative to cling on to. The line about the rising Aussie dollar is going to make the transition and balancing of the economy a bit trickier since we've finished that commodities boom. Was put in there again, but with commodities rising, they also noted that will increase national income. And so this, it's a very well supported currency on the crosses. So the main crosses there that are rallying, Aussie Kiwi, continuing to grind higher. Now we'll look at what that's doing to the Kiwis, just dragging it lower. So the Kiwi can't get any of this US dollar weakness or US dollar sideways action at all. It's just getting punched down by this Aussie Kiwi. This is sort of like a rubber band that can't continue forever, so I don't mind this in terms of valuations and just risk reward of getting long on the Kiwi. The Kiwi's been beaten down ever since the RBNZ came out with their we are going to be on hold for 2 years. Very unreasonable sort of assumption that the RBNZ has made. Market still ran with it, and Aussie Kiwi's taking advantage of it. And so Aussie Kiwi breaking high, he's pushing that lower. It might continue for a little while. 110 seems to be the level that's next sort of resistance zone. That'll put the Kiwi dollar back in the lower 69s. But still, at some point, if you like just general market going sideways or range trading in the foreseeable little bit of future, or that the US dollar is struggling, then the Kiwi dollar should come back into demand at some point. The economy over there is actually stronger than the Australian economy on multiple readings, so it's to me it's interesting price action, and I'm looking more towards the buy side. I don't really like to buy counter trend too much. But that's one pair that I'm looking at, sniffing around at. You saw me buy that, it got stopped out last night. And the dollar yen trade I've had for a while now, since back here, is still holding. So we're sort of see if that can break back above 114.10, and I'll keep on holding that. Stop same place, 40. In terms of euro, really quiet. Failed above 106. Got some negative news there regarding French elections. And it has been under a little bit of pressure in terms of since the test of 106, but nothing crazy. It's the pound which has got the most weakness, and that's just due to that uncertainty that's not going away anytime soon. The latest little bit of headline that got some attention was calls by Haig. You might remember him as a foreign minister, I believe. UK, you would have seen him in the Iraq War sort of scenarios. He was calling for a snap election to take advantage of the popularity of the current government versus Labour, but that does open the door to a little bit more uncertainty, right? If you do that, and the market's just selling and the buyers are waiting, and so the whole recovery trade is definitely on pause and just wait for those good levels. This is making Euro Pound go to fresh cycle highs. So we did, we're enjoying that nice downtrend for so long. Now it's broken back up, broken that 86.60 level, and this is looking pretty strong in just technically. But this is not a technical trade. This is a political trade. So you need to be knowing what the headlines are. The headline risks are much more skewed towards a positive development at these levels than the negative development. And the main thing we're watching is what happens after the Article 50 is true, which could be as early as next week. Alright, that's what I'll be looking at to see if the market can rally. Then I'll start to sell more Euro Pound up here. If the pound can rally after such sort of event, people are wondering what that's going to mean. I think it means just there's a way forward, and then you can start focusing on the future rather than the uncertainty. So yeah, pretty mild, pretty quiet, and I can't see anything changing in terms of the volatility tonight. Data-wise, not much out. We got the Kiwi dairy prices actually. Now dairy has been pulling back a little bit last 2 months. It was pretty strong last year, but so far this year has been pretty weak. If we see some stabilization or a little bounce, that could help Kiwi dollar come back from pretty stretched selling, but and join the Aussie as a buy on the dip sort of currency. But so far that hasn't emerged. So yeah, if you're looking at pairs which are in movement, Euro Aussie still getting sold on rallies, and it did go back to 140, so it's a little bit better valuation than it was when we last looked at it on its break below 138. So a move back down to 138 makes sense to me, but obviously you have to be watching what the euro is doing. It's got a little bit of bid on in general since last Friday, so back towards these sort of levels. I don't mind that at all. Pound Aussie's enjoying nice sort of selling as well. Another little pair that's in movement. So the Aussies, when it's strong, you look to what you want to buy it against. Maybe not against the US dollar, but against the pound or against the euro, make more sense. Or against Aussie yen. Aussie yen had a nice little bounce today, and it was pulling back though since the RBA to pretty neutral levels. I mean, the pound, it's not going to do too much with that dollar yen, or unless the Aussie can establish that foothold above 86. But it looks like a little bit of a failure so far. So it's interesting price action actually. The Aussie up here. You don't like to see that as a bull. You don't like to see us back at that 76 level. You want to see us holding and grinding, continue. But we'll see how it plays out in the next 24 hours. So unfortunately, yeah, not a huge day in the markets ahead either, because there is no data to get the market moving. US trade balance is tier 3 almost now. Tomorrow things heat up a little bit though. We do get the trade balance from China, and we get the ADP report, which is the employment change, the private employment change. So there is a little bit to look forward to tomorrow. I won't stream tomorrow. I'm going to be streaming on Thursday and on Friday, NFP this week. But there is, there might be a little bit of sideways movement. I'm looking to play ranges at all if I'm doing anything at the moment. Yeah, a little update here from RBA, it's from Westpac. Yeah, everyone expected unchanged. It was slightly bullish. Most measures of business and consumer confidence are at or above average. Interest rates are expected to increase further in the US. They want that to happen, and the Aussie to fall on behalf of that. Yeah, this is the warning on the Aussie dollar. Appreciating exchange rate will complicate the adjustment, which is what they're trying to orchestrate at the moment. Yeah, hey Ram, how you going? And Trendline, I think it's for the premium members. I'm not sure though. Might not be. It might be for everyone. I haven't really looked into it. Sorry. I was going to download it as well. I don't. Yeah, have a look. See if it works. It looks like it can be downloaded for free, but it might require sort of membership to the premium room to activate. But yeah, I will find out for you. Yeah, it might be just one of the supported brokers. Yeah, a little bit of a push here in dollar yen. We want to see it above 114.10. That'll be the trigger to buy more. Interesting that it's been so delayed in its reactions. Alright, just 2 secs, I'll be back. So yeah, sorry about that. I'm back now. Alright. Yeah, I mean, look, most of the reports today are struggling to even fill the pages. There isn't much. Even Trump isn't tweeting much at the moment. Little Trump test check, and a little US yield check, just so you see what's going on. Just a little bit of job stalk. Yeah, but nothing crazy today, so nothing to get excited about. And US yields. Right back at this key level. Let's see if we can get above it, but it's failed so many times at 2.5 that, you know, I won't be getting too excited myself just yet. Alright, if we can hold above it, I mean, this is very similar to a dollar yen chart, right? Then you should see the market do quite well. Dollar yen, I mean. But we haven't been able to break that for a while. Chinese trade data tomorrow does have implication for Australian dollar. This is what they're talking about here. This is what we used to care about. We used to trade it. Chinese trade balance a lot, namely imports was what's important. Imports, you know, a lot of it comes from Australia. Just seeing if the imports are increasing. Looks like it's supposed to be a bit of a dip there import-wise. And in terms of, you know, there's a lot of theories running around. Why is the euro holding up so much? Seems to be that the eurozone, you know, politic risk is pulling out. You know, a lot of people have been selling the euro just generally, and you know that's failing. It's like dollar yen, right? Everyone's on this consensus trade, and it's just not working out. It's actually very dangerous in that regards. UK, we do have this House of Lords tomorrow. That shouldn't be the biggest deal. I think it's more to do with should be not the biggest deal there. Everything's moving forward. They're bearish on the pound. They think uncertainty is the main reason to keep selling. And in terms of market underpricing, protection risk, yeah, Drew Tony meeting over the weekend, right? That's going to be interesting, right? I mean, you might see some people, upset with the US the way it's heading. That could be interesting. A good place to sort of voice that. Yeah, very quiet in terms of data though until we get later in the week. Let's have a little look at weekly insight. Not a bad report from Citibank that they do bring out. Alright. So you see the Canadian dollar, so New Zealand dollar is the worst. Canadian dollar pretty weak too. Gold was, surprisingly weak given that gold had been enjoying so much support on dips. The fact that support evaporated on the rate talk. I mean, it was even like sort of holding against the rate talk as well. Where are we, gold? And it's just given in a little bit in the last 48 hours. So this final little capitulation, I think, has really broken that sort of buying dips sort of scenario in the gold. But as I discussed with a few clients today, the NFP is becoming a little bit of an asymmetric risk here, which means that if it's a strong number, you're not going to get too much US dollar strength. If it's a weak number, you're going to get extreme US dollar weakness, given that opens the door for the Fed not to raise the week after. So yeah, I don't think that you want to be too aggressively long into the NFP. I mean, it should be a good number, right? But the US dollar is getting a little bit of fatigue in terms of the buying, especially on the main play that we'll be looking at, which is the dollar yen and the euro shorts. That's not showing too much follow through regarding what the Fed reactions are. I mean, I'm still US dollar bullish. I'm just a bit worried about what's been happening here. I mean, you think it will grind higher. That's my base case, but it's just going about it really hard. It's really hard work at the moment. Perhaps we should stick to the buy and dips though. And in terms of the commodity currency focus, strong fundamentals Australia, New Zealand, and at the end of the red cycles, AUD might find support at lows. Now this is why I like the Kiwi. I think that if there's a slight change in the RBNZ, which they might not do quickly because they want to keep the Kiwi under pressure, or the data continues to improve, in New Zealand, that you might see the Kiwi just start to rally again. And once it starts to rally, it falls sharply and then it comes back up real quick. Falls sharply, then grinds higher. That could be definitely another one of those scenarios here, and this is almost the sort of normal range that it does fall. Can get a little bit bigger, but it's getting there, right? It's definitely getting there. Yeah, I think these guys are on the same CAD and be technically oversold. CAD I would leave alone, but New Zealand dollar I'd be looking at it. They're literally saying what I'm saying. They may resume range trading as a strong New Zealand fundamental stabilizing the Kiwi. So that could be a really good opportunity in coming weeks. This Kiwi dollar. I'm watching this sell off with pretty hungry eyes. So 200-day moving average here on the Aussie dollar is just above 75. So there's a reason to be looking to buy dips in the Aussie as well. RBA was definitely neutral. and there is a fairly strong opinion that we're going to be raising rates towards the end of the year. And it's the yield advantage. You know, there's still very high yield here out of Kiwi, 1.75%. Aussie dollars 1.5%. That's a lot higher than everyone else. So when things are quiet, these will gain a lot of strength. Canadian dollar doesn't have that yield advantage though, and it's a bit more related to oil, so it's a bit more all over the place. And also it's got that reaction to US protectionism a lot more than Kiwi and Aussie dollar, so it's a lot more risky. Alright, British may start Brexit procedure Q2. Hard Brexit risk and fiscal. I mean, hard Brexit seems to be almost priced in already, but continuing, you know, the pound, the UK is supposed to go into recession. So what we're looking at is how far it is going to fall. They're looking for it to fall all the way to 115. It's halfway there now. We'll see. 110 is the all-time low, so it's not that far away. City's forecast for the NFP on Friday is 200. It's a pretty strong number. ECB on Thursday actually is probably a bigger event. We'll have a look at that on Thursday at 9 GMT. We'll have a little preview of it. I mean, there might be a little bit of interesting dialogue there. You know, Draghi likes to talk down the euro, and it did result in some pretty heavy selling in the euro last time he spoke, so that could be interesting there. And they're looking for a break below parity later in the year. Not too much movement on the Aussie. Kiwi a little bit low. Alright guys, is there any pairs that you want me to look at today? I mean, I know it is quiet, but you know, it's a perfect opportunity actually when it's quiet to have a little look at some of the pairs. Keep an eye on the daily charts here. You know, range trading here and dollar yen, range trading here with the euro as well, a little bit of a lower range. Euro Swiss is noticeably stronger. That's coming through from the dollar Swiss side. Dollar Swiss is enjoying buying the dip a little bit better than the dollar yen at the moment. Euro pound, yeah, look, Euro pound, I still like to sell it like I said, but it is worrisomely strong here. But this could be sort of towards the top. There's no major in the story. It's just, you know, constant selling on Brexit uncertainty. Still, it's trending higher, so you could get some more movement. Alright, this is what we look at each time, see if there's anything coming up close. Might have a gander at the pound yen if it gets down there. It's 200. Pound yen is a combination of the pound and the dollar yen, right? So the dollar yen I still like. Pound I want to buy on dips, and that would be a significant dip further on the pound yen, so it could be interesting buying. We'll have a little look there. Nothing really overbought, oversold. Dollar CAD's a little bit overbought. Kiwi's a little bit oversold. Alright, getting a little bit more US dollar strength here. Midway through, just at the start here, second half of the second quarter of the European session. But without data tonight, I don't expect big moves coming here. Yeah, you can get these reports if you join FXWW. That's a chat room. It's around $50 a month. Yeah, it's quite. I find it quite good, but I'm a bit of a report guru, so I like to read this stuff just to sort of back up my feelings on the market and so see where the other analysts are feeling. I mean, obviously not too many are bullish on the pound, but I suspect that there is great opportunity this year in the pound. So perhaps the timing's a little bit off here, maybe a month or two early, but I still like that higher. Yeah, but I'm looking at range trading most of these pairs. That's the main way I'm looking. Alright guys, it's going to be a little bit of a quiet one then. We'll be back on 9 GMT on Thursday. We're going to look at the ECB. Tomorrow, keep an eye out on the ADP. That's a bit of a preview lately of how strong the NFP is going to be. Also, the market will start to gauge where, start to change its expectations on NFP if it's very strong. By all indications and the sentiment reports, the PMI manufacturing came in strong, the employment sector. So yeah, we should see a strong number come through. But obviously, better to wait and see. And there's always statistical issues with these reports. You can have variations that are just 1 month variations. Alright, so let's keep an eye on what's going on here. Pound yen 200-day moving average is a little bit lower. That's the one thing I'll be looking at if I wasn't in. And the Kiwi dollar, I'm sniffing around at the bottom here. Haven't bought yet, but it wouldn't be a bad idea, I feel. Soon enough. Alright guys, trade safe. I'll be back on Thursday.